What does it feel like to be judged before you even speak? Marcus Tate knew that feeling all too well. On a chilly autumn evening in Chicago, he walked down a quiet street, hands stuffed in his jacket pockets, his breath visible in the crisp air. A software engineer with a knack for fixing broken systems, both code and communities, Marcus was no stranger to the weight of eyes on him. But tonight, those eyes belonged to the law. It started with the screech of tires. Two police cruisers pulled up, their lights slicing through the dusk. Marcus froze, heart pounding, as officers spilled out, hands on holsters. "Hands up. Now," one barked. Confusion hit first, then dread. He complied, palms raised, but questions burned in his throat. "What did I do?" he asked, voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. No answer, just cold steel cuffs snapping around his wrists. They shoved him against the cruiser, the metal biting into his skin. The charge? Loitering. Suspicious behavior. Nothing concrete. Just a black man walking home. At the precinct, Marcus sat in a holding cell, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The air smelled of stale coffee and despair. He'd been here before, not in cuffs, but in moments where the world seemed to shrink him down to a stereotype. He was 32, a man who'd built a life from late-night coding sessions and community outreach. Yet here he was, reduced to a case number. His mind raced. They hadn't read him his rights properly. The arrest felt wrong, like a script written before he'd even stepped onto the stage. Then came the twist, a flicker of hope in the chaos. The officer who'd cuffed him, a young rookie named Officer Daniels, lingered by the cell. His eyes darted nervously, his fingers fidgeting with his badge. "I didn't want this," he muttered, barely audible. Marcus caught his gaze, seeing a crack in the system's armor. Daniels was new, barely a month on the force, and the weight of the moment seemed to crush him. "They told me to bring you in. Said you matched a description." His voice wavered. Marcus leaned forward, his voice low but firm. "You know this ain't right. You can still do something." Daniels hesitated, then slipped away, leaving Marcus with a spark of possibility. Time dragged on, each minute a test of endurance. Marcus knew he had one call. Most would call a lawyer, a friend, anyone close. But Marcus had a card to play, one he'd kept close to his chest. He picked up the phone, his fingers steady as he dialed. The line rang twice before a voice answered, calm but commanding. "Marcus? What's wrong?" It was his older brother, James Tate, the U.S. Attorney General. James was a man forged in the same fires as Marcus, raised in the same South Side neighborhood, where dreams often clashed with reality. But James had climbed, from local prosecutor to the nation's top legal officer, a beacon of justice in a flawed system. Marcus explained, his words clipped but clear, the arrest, the vague charges, the rookie's doubt. James listened, his silence heavy with purpose. "Stay calm," he said. "I'm coming." Within hours, the precinct buzzed with tension. James arrived, his presence like a storm rolling in. Officers whispered, their bravado fading as the Attorney General himself walked through the doors. He didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. His questions were sharp, cutting through the flimsy excuses. "Where's the probable cause? The report? The evidence?" The precinct captain stammered, papers scattering. James's authority wasn't just his title. It was the weight of a man who'd seen the system's cracks and vowed to mend them. But this wasn't just about Marcus's release. James saw the bigger picture. Officer Daniels, the rookie, standing in the corner, his face pale. James called him over, his tone firm but not unkind. "You saw it was wrong. Why didn't you act?" Daniels confessed, his voice shaking. He'd been pressured, scared of losing his job. James nodded, seeing not just a mistake but a chance for change. He turned to Marcus, now free, and said, "This isn't the end. It's the start." Marcus walked out into the dawn, the city waking around him. The cuffs were gone, but the weight of the night lingered. He thought of Daniels, a man caught in the system's gears, and of James, a man fighting to fix it. Justice wasn't just a word, it was a promise, one Marcus vowed to keep, not just for himself, but for every soul judged before they could speak. Indy.